The last thing the man said to me was, "Hulk smash?" Then he pulled the hood over my head. At the time, I had no idea what those words meant. By the next afternoon, I would. And by then, it would be too late. But to understand what happened, you have to understand something about me and my friends. We had a tradition, a stupid tradition, the kind of tradition that only makes sense when you're 12 years old and you've spent the last 20 minutes eating rectangular pizza under fluorescent lights. Every day after lunch, we disrespected the pouch. It started sometime near the beginning of 7th grade. There were 5 of us who always sat together at lunch. Same table, same seats, same arguments. And almost every day, at least one of us had a Capri Sun. But eventually, drinking the Capri Sun wasn't enough because we'd all seen the commercials. Respect the pouch. That was the rule. The commercials made that very clear. Kids who disrespected their Capri Suns suffered the consequences. You'd see some kid finish his drink, inflate the empty pouch with air, throw it on the ground and stomp on it. Then, poof, gone. Maybe he'd disappear. Maybe he'd turn into something. Fire hydrant or some other horrible fate. Whatever happened, the message was always the same. Respect the pouch. Obviously, we found this hilarious. So one afternoon, one of my friends finished his Capri Sun and stood up. He inflated the empty pouch, dropped it onto the cafeteria floor, and stomped on it. Pop! Everyone at the table looked at him. He picked up the flattened pouch. Disrespect the pouch! Then he crumpled it into a ball and shot it into the trash can. It went in and we all lost our minds. And that was it. A tradition was born. From then on, every day after lunch, we did the same thing. We finished our Capri Suns, inflated our pouches, threw them on the ground, stomp, and disrespect the pouch. Then we'd crush the remains into a ball and take turns shooting them into the trash can. We got good at it, really good. Eventually, we'd shoot from further away, behind the back, eyes closed. One kid tried bouncing his off the wall. Another threw his from halfway across the cafeteria. Every crushed pouch that landed in the trash was followed by cheers. Every miss was followed by relentless humiliation. It became normal. That's the part I remember most, how normal it felt. Because when you're 12 years old, you don't think about the consequences. You don't stop and wonder whether some stupid thing you're doing every afternoon might eventually catch up with you. And you definitely don't consider the possibility that a Capri Sun commercial might have been trying to warn you. I never thought such a harmless act would destroy everything. It happened on a Thursday. I remember because Thursday was chicken nugget day. Lunch had already ended, and I was sitting in class when the speaker above the whiteboard crackled, "Could you please send Alex to the principal's office?" Everybody looked at me. I immediately started mentally reviewing every crime I'd committed that week, talking during class, running in the hallway, the incident with the mechanical pencil. Nothing seemed serious enough for the principal. I grabbed my backpack and walked down the hallway. When I got to the office, the secretary smiled. "Your aunt is picking you up early today." "My aunt?" "Your mom had to take your little brother to the doctor. Your aunt is coming to get you instead." "Oh, that made sense." I signed out and walked toward the pickup area outside the school. The afternoon was quiet. Most parents wouldn't arrive for another couple of hours, so there were barely any cars around. I sat down on the curb and waited. A few minutes passed. Then I heard tires screech. I looked up. A van came ripping around the corner. Fast. Way too fast. It swerved toward the curb. The side door opened before the van had even completely stopped. 2 men jumped out, both dressed entirely in black. Black shirts, black pants. Even their faces were covered. For a second, my brain couldn't understand what I was seeing. Then they started running toward me. I stood up. "Hey!" One grabbed me. The other threw something over my head. Everything went black. I screamed. Someone lifted me off the ground. "Let go of me!" I kicked as hard as I could, but my feet hit nothing. Then I was thrown onto the floor of the van. The door slammed shut, the engine roared, and we were moving. I tried pulling the hood off. A hand grabbed my wrist. Don't. I froze. Then I heard someone crying. Not me, someone else, a woman. I knew that voice. Aunt Lisa? I'm here. My stomach dropped. What's happening? Don't say anything. Her voice was shaking. One of the men spoke from somewhere in front of us. If either of you tells anyone about this, you're both dead. The van kept moving. I couldn't see where we were going. I couldn't see how many people were around me. I could only hear the tires beneath us and my aunt quietly crying somewhere in the darkness. I don't know how long we drove. It could have been 10 minutes. It could have been an hour. Eventually, the van slowed. A metal door rattled somewhere nearby. Then we drove forward again. The sound changed. The tires were rolling across concrete now. The van stopped. Side door opened. Someone grabbed me. I was pulled out. My shoes scraped across the floor as they dragged me forward. Then they sat me in a chair. The hood came off. Light burned my eyes. I blinked once, twice, and then shapes slowly came into focus. We were inside a warehouse. Huge metal shelves disappeared into darkness on either side of me. A single light hung over a table in front of my chair. My aunt sat several feet away. 2 men stood behind her. Then I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate. Someone emerged from the darkness. Another man dressed entirely in black. He walked towards the table, stopped, and then looked at me. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then he slowly walked around the table. So, he stopped directly in front of me. You thought you and your little friends could get away with disrespecting the pouch? I stared at him. Of all the things I expected him to say, that was not one of them. What? He leaned closer. The pouch. My heart was pounding, and then I understood. No, he said nothing. No, we were joking. He continued staring at me. We thought it was just a commercial. Nothing. We didn't think anything would actually happen. My voice cracked. Please. He slowly straightened. We won't do it anymore, I swear. I'll tell everybody. We'll stop. The man turned away. For a second, I thought it was over. Then he stopped. Without turning around, he spoke 2 words. Hulk smash. I stared at him. What? Then the hood dropped over my head and everything went black. They left us in front of my house. No explanation, no final warning. The van stopped, the door opened, and we were pushed outside. Then it disappeared down the street. My aunt and I stood there without speaking. Neither of us called the police. Neither of us told my mom. Neither of us told anyone. We knew what they had said. If we talked, we were dead. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the warehouse, the table, the man in black. But more than anything, I heard those 2 words, Hulk smash. What did that mean? Was it another warning? A threat? Were they going to send the Hulk after me? At 12 years old, that possibility didn't seem completely unreasonable anymore. The next morning, I went to school, and everything was normal. That's what scared me. Kids complained about homework. Teachers took attendance. Someone was selling candy out of their backpack. Nobody knew that yesterday afternoon, I'd been kidnapped by what appeared to be some kind of Capri Sun enforcement organization. Then lunch came. Sat down with my friends. I watched them eat. I watched them drink. And then I saw the silver pouches. My stomach tightened. One of my friends finished his Capri Sun. He pulled the straw out. Don't. He looked at me. What? Don't do it today. Do what? You know what? He smiled. Disrespect the pouch? I'm serious. Everyone started laughing. Guys. He blew air into the pouch. Stop. He dropped it onto the floor. I stood up. I'm serious. Stop. Disrespect the pouch? The table erupted. Another pouch hit the ground. Stomp. Disrespect the pouch? Stop. A third. Stomp! They crumpled the pouches and started shooting them toward the trash. One bounced off the rim. Everyone groaned. They looked at me. You're not doing yours? I stared down at the Capri Sun sitting beside my tray. No. One of them laughed. What, you respect the pouch now? More laughter. I didn't care because they hadn't been in that warehouse. They hadn't heard the threat. And they didn't know what I knew. Something was coming. I just didn't know what yet. After school, we all went to my friend's house. It was his 12th birthday. His parents had thrown him a superhero-themed party. Normally, this would have been the greatest possible thing that could happen on a Thursday. Superhero decorations covered the walls, Spider-Man plates, Batman napkins, Superman cups. Kids ran around the house wearing plastic masks and cheap capes. Pizza boxes covered the kitchen counter. For the first time all day, I started relaxing. Maybe nothing was going to happen. Maybe the kidnapping had just been a warning. Maybe we'd gotten lucky. Then I remembered. Hulk, Smash. I looked around the room. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. My eyes moved from decoration to decoration. Where was the Hulk? Hey, I asked my friend. What? Do you have any Hulk stuff? He shrugged. I don't know. My stomach tightened again. What do you mean you don't know? I mean, I don't know. Then his mom walked into the kitchen. Okay, everybody, pizza first, then we're doing the piñata. Everyone cheered, but I didn't. What piñata? His mom smiled. You'll see. She disappeared into another room. I stood there frozen. A few seconds later, she came back carrying something huge. Green. Purple. My blood went cold. It was the Hulk. A giant Hulk piñata. She set it on the kitchen table. Everyone started cheering. I couldn't move. Hulk smash. The words echoed through my head. The warehouse. The man in black. His final warning. Hulk smash. I walked toward the table. No. My friend's mom looked at me. What? We can't use that. She laughed. What? Why not? Something's wrong with it. What do you mean? I don't know. We just can't smash it. She gave me the patient smile adults give children when they think they're being ridiculous. It's just a piñata. No, it's not. The smile disappeared. What has gotten into you today? I looked at the Hulk. Its paper face stared back at me. I could hear the other kids outside getting ready. His mom picked up the piñata. Come on, everybody, let's go. No! She stopped. I didn't know how to explain it. I couldn't tell her about the kidnapping. I couldn't tell anyone. So I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed the piñata. Hey! I tore at the paper. What are you doing? I ripped harder. Green paper peeled away beneath my fingers. She grabbed my arm. Stop it! But I'd already opened a hole, and through that hole, I saw silver. I stopped. Something was inside. Something enormous. I pulled another piece away. The silver surface continued downward. Then I saw the familiar blue logo. My heart stopped. Inside the Hulk piñata was a Capri Sun pouch, but not a normal one. This one was enormous. 10 times the size of the ones we drank at lunch. Just small enough to fit inside of the Hulk. I stumbled backwards. No. My friend's mom looked at the hole. She couldn't see what I had seen. She was too angry. I cannot believe you just did that. You don't understand. You were trying to get candy before everybody else. No, there's something inside. That's enough. She grabbed my arm. I'm calling your mom. Please. She dragged me away from the table. Listen to me. You are staying inside. You can't use that piñata. The other kids were already outside. She opened the sliding glass door. Stay here. Please. She stepped outside, then closed the door. I grabbed the handle, locked. I pounded against the glass, but nobody could hear me. Outside, someone hung the Hulk piñata from a tree. My friends gathered around it, all laughing, shoving each other, arguing over who got to go first. I slammed my fist against the doors. Stop! They couldn't hear me. Or maybe they thought I was still being weird. My friend's mom handed the birthday boy a plastic bat. Someone tied a blindfold around his head. No. He spun in a circle. No! Everyone laughed, but not me. I was crying now. I didn't care. I screamed until my throat hurt. Don't hit it! He raised the bat. Hulk smash. I finally understood. The bat swung. It struck the piñata, and the whole world turned white. I don't remember hearing the explosion. I remember feeling it. The windows shook. The glass in front of me cracked. Something slammed into the house. Then came silence. A strange, impossible silence. For a moment, I couldn't see anything outside. Smoke covered the backyard. Then shapes began falling through it. Pieces of the party, paper plates, plastic cups, bits of green cardboard, things I didn't want to identify. The smoke cleared. I looked through the shattered glass. There was blood everywhere. The yard where my friends had been standing was gone beneath debris. The superhero decorations fluttered through the smoke. A red cape drifted down onto the grass. I stood there staring. I couldn't scream anymore. I couldn't even move. All I could think about was lunch. Every stomp, every laugh, every time we shouted those words. Disrespect the pouch. We thought it was a joke. We thought the commercials were stupid. We thought nothing would happen. I looked down. Near the broken sliding door, something silver had landed on the kitchen floor. A torn piece from the giant pouch. I stared at it. And for the first time in my life, I understood. The commercials weren't trying to sell us Capri Sun. They were trying to warn us. I should have respected the pouch. So anyways, were you guys more of a Capri Sun drinkers growing up, or did you prefer to sip on the fine wine of Kool-Aid Jammers? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what commercials you really enjoyed from the early 2000s. Thank you so much for listening to another ridiculous made-up story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.